So you've stopped acting out sexually, you've stopped the porn, you've been sexually sober for 30, 60 days, maybe even more than that. I've been there. Yet there's something underneath that still isn't right. A restless, irritable, and discontent feeling, some kind of aversion to life. So you don't feel good in your own skin. I've been there, and there's a reason for that. Today in this video, I'm going to talk about why that is and how to treat that condition so that the sexual sobriety can last much longer than it would otherwise. I was in recovery for quite a long time before I actually got any serious length of sexual sobriety. So I got into Sexaholics Anonymous, Sex Addicts Anonymous. I was already in Alcoholics Anonymous, but I just couldn't stay sober sexually. I'd get a week, maybe a couple days. I'd get a week, get a couple weeks. Sometimes I got a month. One time I sort of kind of technically had, I think 6 months or 7 or 8 months, but I just felt miserable the whole time. And it was like, what's going on? And the truth is that I'd get to a point where the inner reaction to life that I had, the thing that I actually treated with porn and sex addiction, it would build up and build up and build up, and I could kind of white knuckle it, and I'd go to meetings and I'd talk to my sponsor and I'd go to therapy, and I just still had this anxiety and depression in my life. What I've come to know as restless, irritable, and discontent, which I'll talk about in a minute. It confused me because I thought, I've stopped the thing that's causing me the pain. Why do I still feel uncomfortable? The reason I still felt uncomfortable was because I didn't treat the underlying issue. I didn't treat the root of the issue. Sexual acting out, pornography, whatever that ritual looks like for you, what that looked like for me, really was the thing that made me feel better from the real problem, which was an underlying issue I call restless, irritable, and discontent. It's an internal reaction to life that I remember having from a really young age. It's hard to describe, almost like I didn't like life. I didn't like my thoughts. I felt anxious a lot. I felt socially awkward. When I hit middle school, I started having trouble getting out of bed in the morning. That was indicative of depression. And the only way that I really knew how to get out of myself was to act out. That's when I discovered pornography and masturbation. And for the period of time that I indulged in that behavior, I got some relief. It was kind of like when we act out sexually, we get into this trance-like state. And it gives us relief really from the real problem, which is our life problem, or what I call the sober problem. I had a really powerful experience one time with a gentleman that was helping me, and we were reading through some recovery literature, and he looked at me and he said, "Russell, your problem is not sexual acting out and pornography. Your problem is sober." And I had to ask him, I was like, "What do you mean by that?" And he was like, "The truth is, without the addictive behavior to make you feel better, you're restless, irritable, and discontent unless you can feel ease and comfort that comes from acting out." And I suddenly realized, one of those experiences in recovery where my understanding of recovery sort of turned upside down. I thought I just needed to stop and I would feel better. The truth is, by stopping, I took away the thing that actually made me feel better. So my solution to life was actually acting out. That was the way that I medicated my life issue. Now, that's not a good solution to life. There's better ways to do that. But the truth was, the main problem was my life issue. The main problem was being sober. The main problem was, why couldn't I feel comfortable in my own skin, be happy in my life, be free of stress and anxiety and depression without needing to go and act out to feel better? That was the real problem. And in that moment when he said that to me, when he said, "You have a sober problem, not an acting out problem," I suddenly realized that is where I need to work. I need to work on my life problem, my sober problem. And when I do that, it becomes less of a necessity to act out. In fact, when we treat the restless, irritable, and discontent, the life problem, two really amazing things happen. The obsession to act out goes away. So is our mind. So we can stop acting out a million times, but our mind, the obsession of the mind, is the thing that brings us back to it over and over and over again. The second thing that happens is, because I'm treating my inner condition, my underlying issues, my life problem, what happens is my life gets better. No more anxiety, no more depression, no more stress. I'm able to get out of bed in the morning. I'm able to work towards my goals. I'm able to show up and be a good husband. I'm able to show up and be a good employer at my job. I'm able to just function much better and just have this sort of sense of freedom. But it really has nothing to do with sexual acting out. It has to do with living a good life. My thoughts are in order. My beliefs, my fears, I can see them clearly, and that's because I've worked on my life issue. So it's really twofold. I get free of the obsession and thereby solidify the sexual sobriety because I don't go back to it over and over again. So sexual sobriety is just a starting point. It's an opportunity to look inward and to really treat the underlying issues. The way that I do that in my recovery coaching program is we have some written processes. We have a community of other people that are supportive. You take a look at your fears and your beliefs in your life, and under the spotlight of self-awareness, those start to transmute. You get an opportunity to process that stuff in people, and we ask the right questions so that you can really see what is it that drives this restless, irritable, and discontent inside of me, and how do I start to reframe that, and how do I start to change that. And when we do that, it's a 12-week process. There's written assignments and work that you do with our staff. In the process of doing that, you start to treat the life issue. And like I said, two things happen. People get free of the mental obsession. So it's not like they're rolling a rock up a hill every day wanting to act out all the time. They actually get freedom from that obsession, and they start to feel better. Their relationship gets better. They start reacting to their partners better. They start reacting to their children better. They start feeling that true freedom and true happiness in their lives. So the real pinnacle of recovery is not sobriety, although that's very, very important. The pinnacle of recovery is to feel good in life and to enjoy life and to think right and to behave right and to not lie and all the things that come along with addiction. That's really the amazing part. And in doing so, the person gets an opportunity to really live the best life that they can. So hey, if you're listening to this and you're like, this sounds exactly what I'm experiencing and it sounds like a really great thing, and you want to consider working with us so that we can, one, help you get that baseline of sexual sobriety while starting to heal the underlying issues, the real root of the problem, so that you can really get free of this and really have an amazing life. There should be a link somewhere around down in the description, somewhere around this video. Click through that. There's opportunity in there to see a little bit about what we do, and also opportunity to schedule a call with one of my recovery advisors. And on that call, very simply, they'll go through your situation, see what you're experiencing, give you some really good tips at the end of the day. And if it made sense, we'll outline a recovery plan for you that you can take with you after the call. Or if you want us to help you implement that recovery plan and consider working with us, we'd talk about what that would look like working together. So click the link below, schedule a call with us. It'd be a really good conversation with my recovery advisor. We'll see what's going on with you and see if we can help you. Talk soon.